And there's been times too where like there's just like a couple lines that I just write out and I'm like, okay, I like all these. I like all these. And then, voice record like some sort of melody with that. And then you sleep on it. Next day you're like, this is such trash. What was I thinking? Jesus. Yeah. It's like, yuck. But that's the whole point, right? Like if you don't keep writing, then you're not going to get the crap out of the way. You got to get the crap out of the way for the good stuff to come forward.
Today on Loves Music, we have Brookelyn Rose. Brookelyn is a singer-songwriter. She has a collection of country pop records that I'm sure you're going to love. Make sure you check out her tunes, Does She Know, Novocaine, Hymns, and anything else that you find on her Spotify. You'll sure to love it. You're going to love this conversation. Up next, all the way from the West Coast, we have Brookelyn Rose. Brookelyn, thank you so much for making time and joining me all the way from the West Coast.
Of course, yes. And on your birthday.
Yeah,
yes,
how about that, birthday. Right? Yeah, so a lot of people don't know this, but you actually have a very unique position in my history, right? I remember meeting you at Mike B's studio. I was cutting the intro for my third album at the time. So your voice is actually on one of my projects for perpetuity in the internet to last forever.
I know. I gave it a listen again earlier this week, and I was like, oh my God, is that what my voice sounded like? Like my speak, when you hear yourself talk and you're like, oh God, that's horrible.
well, that's actually a good segue because your voice is actually incredible. Your catalog is, there's not a ton of music. I think you might have 10, 11 songs on Spotify. It might be 10.
I think there's 13, but one is basically just a revamped version. So Does She Know I released twice. One in 2017 and then the new updated version in 23 or 24.
Okay, that makes sense.
But, yeah, so not a ton, but I am working on some new tracks now. Yeah. 4 that are almost done, and then I'd like to put out a full LP.
Yeah, I mean, I love your stuff, and I think because your voice is so rich, sultry, there's times when it's almost too big for the genre, Like, that's why you can float so fluidly from, like, a pop song. You hung out in, like, the country space for a little while. You're still kind of there a little bit. But I feel like it's like country with an asterisk next to it. Like there's like a country with like a soul R&B-ish.
Yeah.
Like it's not the kind of song, like people can't cover your songs passively. Like they're so difficult to sing, but they're so rich. They're not cryptic in their messaging. Like you're very straightforward. So your listeners can like latch on like very easily. Yeah. And they're just really, really creative,
Thank you.
Accessible, creative, yet still accessible. My favorite being, one of my favorite songs of yours is Hymns. I think the hit out of the group is still Sour Candy.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Sour Candy. All right, here's how I see it. You want to hear how I see it?
Let's
Sour
hear
Candy
it.
is the song where like, you ever watch Yellowstone?
No, but it's on my list. It's on my list. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So for those of you, imagine Yellowstone, for those of you who watch it, right? That's the song with Beth Dutton, like the provocative female lead. All the other guys go out on like the ranch for a night out mission or something. And she's there with the girls and they go into the bar and somebody tries to hit on one of the girls and Beth Dutton like kicks the guy in the nuts. And then the girls saunter out of the bar. Sour Candy is the song that's playing in the background when that happens.
I love it. Let's get it synced. Let's do it. Yeah.
If you have any connections to Yellowstone, just message me. No,
yeah. Hey, no. Yeah.
You're right. No, but seriously, it's such a great catalog. There's hits, there's deep cuts, there's introspection, there's love songs, there's painful songs. What of your tracks so far is your favorite?
Julian, you can't ask me that. You know better. They're all my children, Yeah. The one that, it's tough. So I have my new stuff that I'm working on, obviously. Those right now, because I'm so in deep with those, I'm like, oh shit, like they're good. And I think that's the point, right? Like as an artist, you want to continue to grow constantly and you want what you put out next year to be better than what you put out the year before. So that's what I'm striving towards is that, these next tracks are going to be miles ahead of what I once released. Okay. Now, do I get down to Sour Candy? Yeah, I do.
Yeah. That's a huge tune. That's what we call that a big boy song.
Yeah.
That's like, like you hear that song and you're like, oh, she's about to be out. Next time I see her, we'll be in a stadium. Like it's one of those kind of songs.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I
really
love that
good.
one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and like Does She Know is always
Does
going to
She Know
have
is
such
really
a
good.
special place in my heart too. It's one of the ones where I've had people, message me online or after a show, and they're like, that one really speaks to me because we've all been through some sort of heartbreak, and you're
Sure.
like, well, fuck you,
Right.
like I'm moving on now,
Yep.
kind of a thing.
Yeah. Similar to like
yeah.
Worst Part of Loving You was like that, but a more tender song.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I like that a lot. Novocaine. I actually like. Hold on. I like Novocaine too.
Novocaine.
Now they're all coming back.
That might be my favorite to perform live.
Okay.
That one, like that bass, and like the
Nasty.
bass drum, the actual bass when it's yeah.
A pocket tune, like you feel attractive when you're listening to it. You're like, all right,
yes.
all right,
yeah. And you're driving, you're like, shit, like I'm feeling good right now.
Right? That's funny. So how did you get your start? Take me to like early years, like when the first time you heard music, and you're like, this is special.
Yeah. So my first memories of music are through my parents. And, my mom did choir, my dad played in bands and always sang too. But funk, and like that's what I grew up on. Earth, Wind and Fire, Diana Ross, Michael Jackson.
Okay.
And then, like Chicago.
Sure.
So those were always my earliest inspirations for music. And you think about those singers, those performers, the tone of their voice, it's so warm and rich. And the lyrics, they're moving. It's not just necessarily super pop, which has its own place and it's great, but it's really telling a story. So that's what I really fell in love with, was the storytelling, those big booming vocals, that captivates the listener. And I mean, as early as there's this, what is a time capsule, So it was, I think, kindergarten or first grade. And we watched it back when we were graduating high school. So we were seniors, and they asked us, what do you want to be when you grow up? And with my whole chest, I said, when I grow up, I'm going to be a singer, a dancer, a model, and an actress.
All the above.
Some of those, not so much. But the singer has always been my biggest passion in life.
Are you professionally trained at all, or did you get, or is it all just instinct?
A mix of both, but training. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I was in choir as well,
okay.
In school, and then, taking vocal classes in college, music theory, which isn't necessarily the muscle of it, but just learning how to sing so you don't hurt your voice. And then continuing now, whether it's on my own, doing the skills that I learned back in middle school and high school, or on YouTube. There's so many resources as well. But I mean, it's a muscle. So a lot is intuitive and, given, but also, you got to work it or it's going to go to shit.
Yeah. Well, you even like, you'll be on Instagram singing, like no editing, just like singing into your camera phone. You have a video singing like Alanis Morissette that you can hold side by side with anybody's like edited vocals. Like you're that good. For anybody who thinks we're just flexing right here. Like I can personally vouch for your actual chops as a singer. So
thank you.
It is really good. Yeah.
Yeah. That's one of my biggest things. Whenever I see an artist live, you want them to be as good, if not better, live than the recording. And that's hard. But I think that shows the real worth of the artist that you're listening to. Like you don't want all the auto tune. You don't want it to be like lip syncing when they're live. You want to feel that and hear it. So yeah, I always try to give my best with that.
You clearly do. So I know that you do spend a lot of time performing. Can you give me like a brief snapshot of what your like, I guess your touring situation has been? Like I know you're a Philadelphia native. I think you did the Nashville thing, then you did the West Coast, or am I missing a city?
So a little flip-flop. So yes, Philly, and then I was in LA for about 6 years, and then Nashville for about 8 months or so, on and off. So yeah, and then going back west, but it's each city's so different. And special in their own way. And I've learned so much from living in different places. I also spent almost, about 2.5, 3 years in New York, which, yes, it's East Coast, but it's a totally different beast than Philly. And I think that's really important as an artist to not not say stagnant, and that's can be, geographically, but then also just, in life. So for me, when I'm moving around, meeting different artists, that challenges me in a new way. And then, being in a different environment, that's also, it helps those creative juices keep being there. It's easy to just kind of stay in one place, and then you're staying in one place,
Okay. So speaking of creative juices, do you write from the outside in? Like you get kind of like the external stimuli, i.e. relationship, situation, story about somebody? Or is it like, how am I feeling now? And the writing comes from inside out? Or both?
Definitely both. Yeah. More often I feel like it is an outside thing, but it's hard to necessarily tell because I do think they kind of just weave in and out. It could be, one idea that comes in my head and then you get a little hook for it or a line. And that's like, oh, I think I like that. Like, where can we go from here? Sometimes stepping out of myself. I love acting. I did that in school as well. So kind of becoming a character and then finding how does that character that I'm creating, what parts are me in there? And then creating a story and a song from there.
Okay. Do you go melody first, lyrics first, or whatever the situation calls for?
This is always the most interesting thing. It's almost simultaneously. It's hard to say what comes first. Again, I think it's kind of just like this concept, and then singing out the words that make sense almost, and then sometimes tweaking a melody or a phrasing so that it fits with like a tempo that I'm looking for, or how I kind of see the song kind of going.
It actually makes sense because it's not so much lyric or melody, but a phrase for me. Because I'm not a musician. So it's like if I have an idea, it comes out in like a very repeatable like stanza. And I'm like, all right, I think I have some. I didn't forget it in an hour. I must have something. So now I'm humming it. So I don't know if it's the phrase or the melody that came first as much as it's just like this one uncohesive thought.
Right.
And if it grows legs, it becomes a song. If it doesn't, it gets just put in a file cabinet with the rest of useless information.
Yeah. And there's been times too where like there's just like a couple lines that I just write out and I'm like, okay, I like all these. And then, voice record like some sort of melody with that. And then you sleep on it. Next day you're like, this is such trash. What was I thinking? Jesus. It's like, yuck. But that's the whole point, right? Like if you don't keep writing, then you're not going to get the crap out of the way. You got to get the crap out of the way for the good stuff to come forward. And I think that's a reason why, I haven't put out every song I've ever written, because a lot of shit.
Right.
And that's the point. You got to get the shit out. And I am a perfectionist, and maybe that's to a fault at times, but I want people to hear the very best. Because that's what I want to hear as a listener.
I heard Rick Rubin say that. I actually wrote it in the book. He said, good art is never finished, only abandoned. And I like that speaks to like the perfectionist in me. It's like my best songs. Like I could literally take a fully mastered album from 10 years ago and be like, that's not done. Tweak this, tweak that. That's not really done.
Oh yeah. Because like we're changing. Because we're constantly changing and growing. And like listening back to songs that I did, when was it? 2010? Which I didn't even put those songs on Spotify or anything. They're like on my SoundCloud, I think. But I mean, some are really fucking good. Yeah. But I would change them drastically. Right. But the writing is there. But it's the beat, right? It sounds like an early 2000s song. Yeah.
It's not, especially when they're not organic instruments, they sound dated. Like synth sounds kind of, you can almost tell the year if you're a big enough music nerd, Yeah.
Yep. And there's some heavy synth some of those songs are like, woo.
You're like, that's very 2015.
Oh yeah. Yes. Like, let me put on my Ugg boots, my skinny jeans. Yeah.
Put on my Ed Hardy t-shirt.
No.
And
the little hats, the bedazzled.
So what is the next, say, let me frame this question like this, right? What would be the ideal turnout for you in the next 12 months? Like, what would success look like if I'm like, all right, this is where I am in the very close future, 9 to 12 months from now? What would be ideal?
So releasing some of my new songs, singles off the, I have to decide if it's going to be an EP or an LP. So releasing those and obviously creating the visuals for those.
Okay.
Again, 3 out of like 7 or so are just about done, which I'm
Okay.
really excited about.
Me too.
And then, yeah, just, I mean, in an ideal world, I release a single off of that, goes viral. Yeah.
Right.
And then people
Good
can listen
idea.
to the rest of my discography, and then just snowball from there. So that's ideal situation. Keeping it kind of, in the realm of if things don't pop and go viral just yet, then yeah, just releasing it, continuing to write, and yeah, just putting out the best, like EPKs, press kits that
Yeah.
I absolutely can to book more shows. Especially if we're looking to 12 months for next summer, playing larger festivals. That's really what I'm like trying to get into.
Yeah, I would love to see you like a stagecoach or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
that'd be so tough.
Yes.
Yeah. So what do you feel is the most difficult thing about being a creative?
It's I'm only laughing because it's so much easier to say what's easy about it.
You're like, is there an easy part?
Yeah, I'm like, the hardest, some first thoughts is obviously the emotional and mental toll that it can take on you. Being a creative person, constantly feeling like the comparison to other people, especially on social media, where it's like, they're they're getting all this out, boom, boom, boom. And kind of being at your own pace. So that's tough, that emotional, the high and low that come from every release that you do. Also the pressure to constantly be available on social media. That's been something, within the last 5 to 8 years, especially on TikTok, the entire landscape of music has changed. So, it used to be, oh, I'm going to get this radio play. Awesome. You got to get viral on TikTok, period. Or no one wants to hear you. No one's
that's where the negotiating starts. Like monthly listeners and TikTok. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's it. Yeah. So that's a challenge to come up with fresh new content all the time when you're also just trying to create your art. So balancing that is definitely tricky too. But yeah, I'd say for me, those are, some of the biggest hurdles.
Yeah. I was going to actually ask you that, how you manage the business with the creative, because I feel like it's like two opposite sides of your brain. I don't want to speak for you, but for me personally, it's literally like the two opposite sides of it. There's making cool things. And then there's like, okay, how do I use this cool thing I made to crowbar dollars out of somebody all the way they go like, and be commercially viable with it, Yeah. Literally two different skill sets. Mm-hmm. How do you balance the two, like the business with the creative?
It's always, I'm a Virgo, so it's very easy for me. Right. Yeah. The business aspect, I feel, it's always been in the forefront of my brain. Obviously the artistry and the passion, the love for music and writing was first. That ignited the flame. What keeps it going is the business side. Because in high school and college, some of my friends who are artists and they're fantastic. The idea of a starving artist was like, oh, obviously that's part of the gig. Right. No, not for me. No, I'm not into that. I don't think that's cute. I don't think it's fun. Do you want to grind at your work? Yeah, of course. Absolutely. But am I going to be a starving artist? I don't like that term. I don't like that title. Yeah. So
I'm actually fascinated by that. But go ahead. I don't want to cut you off. You're in the middle of the point.
No, yeah, but absolutely. So it's really just, how do you be your own manager then at that point? And separate those two different sides of yourself, like you were saying. And for me, it's kind of been second nature.
I've always been fascinated with that, like that like vast canyon of options between like starving artist, strung out, sleeping on your buddy's couches, and Post Malone. You know, because when you first start, you think those are your two options. I'm going to win a talent show, and I'm going to be Lady Gaga. You know, but there are people that make $74,000 a year doing music. There's people that play, that'll just travel with their guitar, but they're actually like home 3 months a year with their kids, and they still go to soccer games, but they also we'll go headline like a medium-sized stage at Bonnaroo and smash it, you know? And then go to a soccer game in the middle of the week, you know, with the kids.
Yeah, there's so many different levels. And when, you know, growing up, that's what you think. Yeah, right. It's like, well, it's like all or nothing kind of a thing. And yeah, there's just the industry is so massive and there's so many moving parts to it where, you know, you might start out as a singer-songwriter and then you get into the studio and you're like, oh, I really like production. This is really cool. I really like sound design. So there's just like, it's so multifaceted. And the more as an artist that you can be, you know, kind of have your hand in all these different things, well, then the more useful you are to different people. And, you know, if you can play piano, percussion, whatever it is, like, oh, I need a session drummer. Come on in, kind of a thing. So yeah, just being as multifaceted as possible. Yeah, is an asset.
I can see there being like a value add to having like a lot of skill. And plus it's better for like networking as well too. You know, like as you're out there, I mean, the music scene it's big, but it's not as big as you think. I feel like most of the people in Philadelphia kind of know each other, you know, more or less. So I think being able to leverage like small pockets of revenue while you're focused on your dream, it's pretty dope, you know? Yeah,
absolutely. And then the business side of music, like, you know, I made the joke about the sync licensing, but that is huge. And like, if you are like passionate about music and you're like, you know what, let me try to get other artists' music placed into this commercial, this video game, this movie, whatever it is, that also can tickle like a little creative part of your brain too, that maybe, you know, you didn't know at first. Is it for me? No, that part's not.
It's a great idea. Not my idea, but a great idea.
Not me. Nope. But a few of my friends, you know, they pivoted into that realm. And it's been really great and challenging for them. And to see that kind of growth is awesome. I wish that was something that interested me because I think that would be cool, but I just need to perform. Yeah.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Well, you mentioned earlier, you're very specific. You said it's about high highs and low lows, right?
Yeah.
What are some of the, because I feel like the lows come with those like false prophecies we tell ourselves about it's not going to happen for us, or we compare ourselves or whatever. And you can stay there for a while. What are some of the things that you tell yourself, the truths that you actually tell yourself to keep yourself from hanging out in like the darkness, so to speak?
A lot of it isn't necessarily what I tell myself. I have a really wonderful network of people, family and friends around me that lift me up when I can't do it for myself. Especially my dad. He is my biggest cheerleader of all time, forever. And he's an entertainer himself. He grew up as a magician. That's what he did. Yeah. So I was his little assistant.
That's
and
hilarious.
He's definitely, you know, the one I go to when I'm like, shit, this is hard. You know, I'm having a hard day. And he's the one. He's like, listen to your music. He's like, you're great, you know, and then just builds me up in all the ways that I need. And it's special. I think it's really important to have those people in your life. And then my friends too, when, you know, they'll just send me a screenshot of them being like, you know, Nova came like, oh, I fuck with this so hard. Yeah. You know, it's so good.
Yeah. It's essential.
And, you know, even like strangers too, like, you know, getting DMs from people that, you know, are either just starting to listen to my music or a song that they've listened to for a long time, and getting those really lifts me up. And realizing in the moment where it's like, oh, we're not alone. Like we're all connected to each other.
Yeah.
And then also like stepping back sometimes. Right. If I really am like, if I'm struggling to like finish a song, let's say, I'm like, this is brutal. Stepping away is so okay. And giving myself that grace and that time to pause.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's big. I mean, we're often we're hard on ourselves more often than we're kind to ourselves.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Every time I write a song and like go to record it, I'm like, is this the last good song I'm ever going to write? Maybe. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
You're like, this is it.
This is it. This is
better
everything.
Go. This is the last
one. Bye.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. We do. We like overvalue the micro project. You know, like, all right, this is going to be the one. You know, like we don't. Meanwhile, we have like another 20, 30 songs in the tuck that we already did. But we only think this is going to be the last one. We're so weird like that, artists. But I feel that. You know. Like the stars will just align in the studio, and I'm like, this is perfect. Yeah. It'll never happen again. Oh no. Oh no, it'll never happen again. We'll never be able, like, you know? Yeah. I can't even enjoy the song I just made. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the best compliment someone ever gave you?
Well, it's it's dark at first, but basically they were like, I thought like my life was not worth living, and it was actually with hymns. And they were like, I listened to this song and I realized I'm not alone in this, and I'm not the monster I see myself as. So just like if that person was having suicidal ideations, and just to say like my song did that, like for one person, like that's incredible.
It is.
Like even if like I never released another song, just to have that and that one person say like this saved my life, I'm good.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean that's what you do it for. Absolutely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You're like you kind of just like I forget what guest said it, but I loved it. It was like that's what art is. We basically just open our arms and see who comes in.
Yeah.
I believe it was.
I love that.
Rebecca McCartney. Rebecca, if you're watching this, I just quoted you on the 23rd episode of Loves Music.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. So when you do your visuals, is there anybody you want to shout out? Producers, any art directors or anybody?
Oh yeah. So for the last few years, I've been working with Bobby Danzy, who is originally a Jersey boy. And then he was in Nashville for a while, and now he's in LA. And that's who I did like my last EP with, and then these new songs. I love how he pushes me, vocally, especially, whether it's with harmonies, different vocal layers, or just hitting certain notes that I didn't know vocally I could get. I love working with him, and he's such an incredible guitarist. Like on Turn Off the Lights, Sour Candy, like he is fucking shredding.
Yeah.
So I love working with him. And I've worked with a ton of different, DPs, director of photography. So it's hard to pinpoint just one. I've been now more so doing a lot of the directing, which I really love. It's super fun working with, other people, other artists, and mostly my friends who want to step in. But I usually have an idea of what I'm looking for visually, and then putting that board together, and then finding people online or through friends that are more talented than me. Because I think that's the, like, what I look for, like whether it's musicians or any other people in the arts, where I want to be pushed by people better than me so that I can reach that level. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I have no problem delegating something I'm not good at. Like once I find talent that surpasses my own, I'm like, yeah. I was like, come on here.
Like, please.
You do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So what is something about you that we wouldn't find out just by looking at your socials?
Well, I love cooking.
Okay. What's your specialty?
It really, like Italian food, pastas, anything cheesy too. Yeah. I make this incredible buffalo chicken mac and cheese every year for Thanksgiving. And just like taking my time to like sous vide the chicken, season it well. Like I'm not using canned chicken. Okay.
All right.
But yeah, I wish I was better at baking. But I don't like, it's so tedious. Yeah. I'm like, let me just feel it out. Right. So yeah. And then like, steak, mashed potatoes, certain veggies, but, really taking, maybe really indulgent food and trying to find a way to make it, a little bit more healthy. Especially when like for a vocalist, not super acidic, not heavy dairy. So like where can I incorporate veggies in a way like for sauces and stuff instead of like heavy cream. But yeah, so I love cooking. That's not really featured on my Instagram or TikTok.
You're not going to find out on your TikTok?
No. Oh, and also like I'm very big into like comics and like Marvel and DC. I don't really put that out as much. I don't know why. But yeah, like going to Comic-Cons and stuff like in San Diego, and
I did not see that coming.
Yeah.
I did not see that one coming. The cooking thing, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
The comics thing, the Comic-Con, I didn't see. You do the cosplay like the whole nine, or you just go?
I
Or?
have. I've only done that twice.
Okay.
But yeah, I love dressing up, like going to Ren fairs and yeah, just kind of becoming someone else too
Love
is
it.
really fun. So yeah, I definitely had like my long awkward phase, and I've always kept that middle schooler with me forever, even though like, you know, all the changes, but yeah, I'm just a quirky little nerd. What can I say? Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I think we're all nerds. I think there's a part of you kind of have to be. It's hard to be very creative and also be cool. Like I feel
Yeah.
like the only reason like I've been able to like even put work out is because I had a really good relationship with an engineer, and I could be
Yeah.
like, look, I'm gonna try some things, and they're gonna be bad. I'm not gonna be cool. My voice is gonna squeak. I'm gonna say things that are weird, but like, let me just take a few takes and just be weird. A few weird takes,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And then like you can feel like the cool leave your body. You get nervous, you get vulnerable. But then on the other side of playing, you know, you actually have like some decent art, you know?
Mhm.
But
I'm
yeah,
definitely with these new tracks, I'm letting my theater kid out.
yeah,
These definitely feel the most authentic to who and where I am right now, but
I like that.
also um kind of honoring the theater kid that I was. So yeah, playing around with, you know, just a lot of different kind of vocals and samples that I've not used before. It's going to feel quite different.
Does this mean, is it going to be like a more theatrical project, like elements
Yeah.
of like Broadway? Because if so, love it, you know?
Yeah.
That's actually why I'm a big Beatles fan. Always kind of reminded me of Broadway a little bit. There was like a little pinch of like Broadway, which is
Yeah.
why I like always love the Beatles. So like, yeah,
Yeah.
give me some of that on the next
Yeah.
project. I'm cool with that.
Yes. I'll give you some Beatles elements. Yes.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
Right. Yeah. Just dial up one of the best songwriters of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fine. Yeah.
No. No. But I do like that. Like people aren't afraid to put like kind of like weird Broadway vaudevillian kind of like tones in their music. I don't know if that's what you're gonna do, but that's kind of like what I'm referring to.
Yeah.
Mm.
Absolutely.
No, but I think it's gonna be great. So what would be like if there's like a universal message for somebody who encounters you either online or just like in your music, like what's one overarching message you would want somebody to take with them that hears your music?
Definitely, I would say geared towards the girls, gays, and theys. You are valued for sure, and strong, and also soft. And there's beauty in the softness. And we can balance the duality of the feminine energy that is the hard and the soft.
Mm, that makes so much sense after hearing your music now. Because there is like it has like a little bit of a punch to it,
Mhm.
but there is like a delicate femininity even in like the tougher songs.
Yeah.
And you kind of like weave in and out of that. It's like it's sexy but tasteful. It's in your face but not intrusive.
Mhm.
I see that now as I listen to the projects. That makes sense.
Great.
It's accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah, that tracks for sure.
Mhm.
As people are looking through your music, if there was only one way to support you, obviously there's a bunch of ways to get a hold of you, like, comment, subscribe, whatever. But if there was only one, what's the single best way that somebody could support you?
Probably streaming.
Yeah.
Streaming, listening,
play it over and over
sharing
again.
the songs. Yeah, yeah. Just even when you're like going to bed, silence. We'll play it. Yeah, and then connecting on Instagram and TikTok so that you can come to my shows. That's as artists, that's my favorite way to connect with fans and new listeners is after a set. Just people coming up to me and chatting. So connect on socials. And then stream the music and come to the shows.
Absolutely. So when's the next time you'll actually be out on the road, and where? And do we have cities lined up? Are you going to be making big announcements? I don't want to ruin the surprise if you are.
So I am working on an East Coast tour, especially gearing up to release the new music, the new album. So that is still in the works. I'm finishing up some summer shows, end of August here, early September. So they're going to be in Colorado, some Denver, Colorado Springs. And then I'll be doing some in LA. We just have to nail down the venue. But Yeah, I mean, I love West Coast, but, you know, I'm an East Coast girl forever, so
Oh,
I gotta
Jersey.
do that East
Come
Coast
on.
tour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll definitely be there. Yeah, I can't wait to see some of the stuff in person. It's like I would started to see everything pop up. You were never really on the East Coast, or maybe I wasn't available. I was always
Yeah.
kept an eye out for dates, and I was like, as soon as she comes around, I know I'm gonna see her name on something. I was like, I want to make sure I get it out, and I still haven't been able to like catch you. So
Yeah.
When that East Coast tour happens, bring some people out and make sure you
Yeah.
show you some support and some love, because
Yes, thank you.
it's too good. And
Thank
I
you.
know the music's going to translate live. I see videos of it live, but I know like to be in the room with that like high energy, just good. It's like gourmet music. It's like,
Ooh, I like
yeah,
that.
like
Yeah.
let's go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you want people to know about you before we say goodbye today?
I'm just really thankful to be doing what I love to do. Not many people, you know what they want to do when they're 6 years old and continue to do it. And I think as long as you continue to grow and you persevere through the highs and the lows and you have that growth mindset, there's not really anything that can stop you. So I'm just really thankful to be sharing my love with everybody.
Yeah, well, we're thankful. I'm thankful that one day in my studio, I came across this young girl named Brooklyn, and now I get to have a conversation with her 12 years later. So
Yeah. Oh my
thank
God.
you,
Yeah. It's
thank you so
crazy.
much for your time. I know that you have a million things going on for you so for you to even set aside this brief time, it means the world. I do not take it lightly. I know what your schedule's like, and this means the world. So thank you, Brooklyn, so much.
Thank you, Julian. I was so happy to connect with you, and thank you for having me on. It's really
Oh.
been so wonderful to see you and connect again.